A community is saying thank you tonight to a teacher who has inspired her students to become civic activists.
The students here at Shawnee High School have written letters to politicians, written letters to the Army Corps of Engineers. They've also sold t-shirts to try and raise money to fix the aging levees in this area. And soon they'll start making a movie to spread the word.
We're working with SIU students studying film, and it's pretty much just trying to get the point across that we need help and we're wanting to save this area. It's not just some project that we're doing, it's bigger than that.
The problem with the levees is that they were built to only last 50 years and they're now going on 60 years. They're deteriorating, which means basically that the embankment or the side of the levee is collapsing. The infrastructure, such as the drainage pipes and gates, are collapsing. In fact, one collapsed in Grand Tower recently. And even sand boils are popping up on the inside of the levee. This means that lives are in danger. People could lose their farms, their schools, and their homes.
Whenever they built the levee, they put these big drains in it. Those are to let the water out of the bottoms when the river's up. You know, we open them up and drain the farm ground or all the bottoms, and they just pour out.
If we don't soon do something, we're going to have some problems because they was designed for 50 years, but it's been longer than 50 years. It's been 60, 65 years. In those conduits, in those gates, most of them hadn't been attended to like they should have been attended to. So we need to do some work some way, somehow, but it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do this.
If the levee broke from the power plant, the Mississippi River part of our levee system, not the Big Muddy, I'm talking about the Mississippi River. From the power plant, it comes down to Devil's Backbone Park and goes down along Front Street here. If that levee was to break within any point from the city front here up to the levee, where it meets the hill, Big Hill, if it was to break in that area, you would have there's good chances Grand Tower could get wiped out completely, the whole town.
We're currently probably farming 1,500 to 2,000 acres of mainly corn, soybeans, and wheat. This area is everything to us. I mean, I was raised here. I've been here almost 53 years next month. I went to school on Wolf Lake. I farmed the farms, and we've got, I believe we've got 6 generations. One of the McMahans are probably, I know the most descendants still living here in Wolf Lake.
In 1993, the Corps of Engineers told us that if the levees had not held, that the water would probably be up to the roof, basically. And so if we have another catastrophic flood, if our levees don't hold, this house more than likely wouldn't be here.
The people from Grand Tower all the way down to almost Carroll need to realize, and the outside people need to realize, that right now it's Grand Tower's floodgates and locks. They were all put in at the same time. They're all the same date, and they can all go out at the same time. Grand Tower's might have went out first, but that doesn't mean they're not going to go out all the rest of the way down. It can happen.
The levee districts are unable to pay for the repairs because this area of Southern Illinois is prone to high poverty rates, unemployment, and the locals just don't have the millions of dollars needed to make these repairs. They've tried. They've had countless fundraisers, but there's just not enough money in this area to repair it themselves.
That much of the landmass away, that's a huge property tax revenue that's gone. So Shawnee Community College, Stinson Library, the Sheriff's Department, all the things that depend on property taxes to fund them are going to take a huge hit. So it's an impact on the region, not just the area that we live in down here. It's not a localized issue.
Mostly the people that live in our community, they're very low income. They can't afford just to drop everything and pack up and leave. And since the early 90s, most of the people aren't, they don't have flood insurance. So if you don't have the money to leave, the only choice that you have is to try to fight and save. And that's what we've all been doing.
People ask us, why did you buy in the floodplain? But everybody cannot live on a hill. We've lived here all these years, and it is an experience, and it's worrisome, but You can't run from everything. So we just take it as it is. A lot of sleepless nights and a lot of worry. Tattered nerves, but it's home.
We've been brought to the forefront. The more, the old saying, the wheel that squeaks the loudest gets the most grease. We still need a lot of grease, but I think with the help of the students, they know that we're squeaking.
It's a way of life here. I mean, it's all we got, and for agriculture's it, and we have to protect it, and the homes, and for everybody.
I think the solution to the problem is that the federal government, the state government, and even regional governments need to work together to find funds to put towards the levees. The locals have done all they can do, and now it's time for other government agencies to step up and put funds towards these levees before a disaster does happen. It's called disaster risk reduction, but this is a classic case of it, where they could actually save money in the long run by putting funds towards the levees before they fail, because with time, they will fail.
As a child, I knew the Bottomlands. I knew its fury in the spring. I knew its blazing heat in the summertime, and autumn mallards on the wing. And I knew the way to your house down an icy gravel road. Yes, I knew the way to your house with